Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. As always, I'm your host, RP. Joining me today in the studio, as always, is my good friend and co-host, M3. Hope everyone's doing well. We've got Patriots from all over the globe. Thank you for being here, guys. Please do us a favor. Don't forget to like and share this broadcast. We've got quite a few very important things we're going to be talking about today. I'm sure everyone saw that press conference with Bill Barr. That's going to be number one. Don't worry. We're going to get to it. Among many other things. Red state, blue state, it doesn't matter. We're all Americans. 412 and on. Good to see you, friend. Thank you to JoJo. Thank you to Real Red Pill Mom. Thank you, Hog. Thank you, Wheezy Girl. Red Pill Girlfriend, if you're out there, thank you. I don't know about you guys, but it's raining here. There is a thunderstorm. So you might hear the dogs. All right, gang. Please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Franklin's Finest Coffee is the first ever emergency survival coffee with an actual up to 25-year shelf life. The kit provides a 1-year supply of flavorful Franklin's Finest coffee for one person. It's conveniently packaged in 12 resealable, 60-serving, heavy-duty 4-layer zipper pouches for a total of 720 servings. It's all packaged in a rugged, water-resistant bucket for easy storage, and Franklin's Finest Coffee is the ultimate survival perk, especially for those that drink coffee on a daily basis. Or you can take it camping. It's 100% Colombian, and it's also the perfect item for barter or trade in an emergency. You'll thank us later for that tip. As Benjamin Franklin said, among the numerous luxuries on the table, coffee may be considered as one of the most valuable. It excites cheerfulness without intoxication, and the pleasing flow of spirits which it occasions is never followed by sadness, languor, or debility. Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. Methods, how are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I got another care package in the mail. I just want to show this off. Look at this.
Of course, it's flannel.
My trademark flannel. Thank you so much for making this for me. It was your real name on the envelope, so I don't want to dox anybody, so we're not going to say that out loud. I also got this book right here, Balls Moving West. Now, this is a public book that I was invited to give away, so I am going to say thank you to David Easton for writing this and sending it to me. I got another copy downstairs. And then also texhas.com, texhas.com. I got a MAGA country pin here. I got the Jussie Smollett special, MAGA 45 right there. And then also I got these little, there you go, little Punisher pin right there. And I got another one over here on my pocket. And then the screen is like mirrored incorrectly, so it's difficult to pull it up and make sure that I get it correct.
You're gonna get that 15 pieces of flair like Office Space going on, huh?
Yes. Or I was thinking, what was the one about the restaurant workers too?
No, that was Office.
That was
Space.
Office. No. There was a different one. There was a different one with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, you mean Waiting?
Waiting. That's it. Waiting. Yeah, they had like the sash. You know, it looked like a Star Wars thing with all the flair on it.
Right. But yeah, I know that me and you were crossing our fingers, hoping that our favorite Anon would comment on the bar presser, and as the show was starting, he showed up. She, whatever, showed up. So that's great. But we already had our opinions ready for how we feel about it today. So
yeah.
We'll get into that here shortly.
So let me just say a couple of quick thank yous because I see people dropping some super chats. Looney Tune said, our favorite Anon posted 10 weeks of booms, and that ends on Saturday, July 4th. Excellent observation. Also said, realized it last night. QTubers need to report on it. Yes, I think that Methods recognized it. I just did never mention it because there was so much other stuff going on. Navy Vet, what is y'all's thoughts on the country not fully opening until after the arrest to prevent FFs? 17 said it has to be done by the military. Man, when it comes down to timelines at this point, I have absolutely no idea, guys. I'm not going to lie. I think that this 10 weeks of booms, having a start and then, the 10th week on July 4th, it makes sense to me that that's a progression of events, and perhaps on that 10th week, we're going to have something significant happen. But I also believe that each week there's going to be something that is very important taking place. I mean, Methods, I know you don't like to speculate, but I mean, do you have any thoughts on the 10 weeks?
No, I agree. Like, to have things roll out, consecutively like that, so we have the time to explain it. We have the time for Trump to comment on it. It kind of paints the picture over time, and it also puts the MSM, Democrats, Biden's camp, everybody on defense. They have to kind of then counteract. Mm-hmm. So it's taking control of things like that. But no, I agree. I'm at the point now when it comes to certain speculation like that, it's definitely interesting. Would make sense, but it's also like I want to tell people like, shh, don't talk during the movie type things. Because I mean, we're at those kind of points now. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of making sure that we don't have FFs, that makes sense, but something tells me, if they want to pull something off, they're going to try to pull something off, and it's just going to be up to our guys to try to stop it from happening. So I don't know. We'll see what takes place. Nurse Grandma 03, check your email muffin info. There was actually quite a few people who emailed me about muffins reverse sneezing. I've spoken about it on the show before, so I didn't feel the need to bring it up again. But yeah, she breathes in, she's a little excited, her nasal cavity collapses, and she can't breathe. And I don't know if it's because she's a mutt, she's got like the face of a Jack Russell Terrier and the lungs of a beagle. I don't know exactly why, but it tends to be something that small dogs do. So I just want everybody to know that Muffin is not dying. She's going to be okay, and it's something that we go through on a daily basis. So she's going to be fine, though. So thank you, all of you, for that.
Real quick before we move on, I see a lot of people in the chat commenting on iPod, mentioning me in his video, all that. We some people may not know, but we made a push this weekend to get him over the 100K mark on Twitter, and it only took a few hours. All I did was put out a tweet. I love iPod. I support him completely.
Good guy.
It works great. But all I had to do was just tweet it out, and you guys did it. You guys helped share it. I saw it all over the place. He got there. He broke 200K subscribers on YouTube. And so, thanks iPod for the shout out. Thank you for the cake. He had a lot of cake available for everybody. But yeah, no, it's definitely cool. And I'm really proud of you guys for making that happen for him.
Yeah, good job, guys. American Wife says class 1 through 99 mean weeks in week 3, so 96 more weeks. No, I don't believe that means weeks. We were shown like the 10 individual weeks, and classified 1 through 99, I believe just means classified information. And I would say, maybe there's 99 things that are classified, or maybe that's just a term that they use, to point to something that they can't overtly say. But no, I don't think that it's going to be 96 more weeks. I think that would be way too long.
I think we could kind of probably tie that to what we're going to talk about here with the bar presser and then what our favorite Anon posted. So we'll get to it.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Bill Barr and Christopher Wray, they had this presser earlier today. Now, there was a question that was asked, but the presser was not about the subject matter of that question. The reason they were pulling this presser together is because the FBI was able to crack a couple of Apple devices so that they could get information out of it. I'm sure that everyone remembers back in December, there was a tragic event that took place in Pensacola on a base. There were some people from Saudi Arabia who were there as some type of military exchange program. They were training there. And there was some kind of an attack that took place. Okay. Now, the individual that I guess was the mastermind, or was the ringleader, he had two phones on him. He put a hole through one of those phones, and then the other phone he was unable to disable. Now the good news is the men and women of the FBI, despite lack of help from Apple, despite lack of help from others in the technology field, they were able to crack into both those phones and to get extremely good intelligence out of those phones. Now, that is a huge thing. It means that in the future, if these types of things happen and there is a device left behind, I think it's more likely that the FBI is going to be able to get into it and gather that intelligence and use it. Now, the bad news is that it took them a couple of months. They lost valuable time. They lost any lead-in that they would have had if they could have gotten into those devices straight off the get-go. So the people that were working with this Saudi national were no longer there. However, they do understand the communications and his movements in the months and even years leading up to what happened at the Pensacola base. So that's a really good thing. I think it was a big win for America overall. But Methods, was there anything that you caught in there before we get to the meat?
Right. Yeah. I'm dropping the tweet here in the chat for you guys to watch the video if you haven't already, because there's a good portion of it that Barr was explaining that the fact that, because the biggest takeaway to me during all that is how Apple wouldn't work with us. Right. It was attack here and, on American soil. Apple just wouldn't help. And they, under the guise of, rights of people to have their information private. And to a degree, I can get that. But in turn, he pointed out how Apple and even other tech companies have no problem working with other people like the CCP in China and Russia and all this stuff on the sharing of information. And he even pointed out that Apple had moved their data centers and stuff for mass data collection type stuff that they do to make it easier for people like the CCP to go through the information. So the whole conversation about how, it's people's privacy, people's rights for that stuff, that falls on its face, because if we were in China under the CCP, it would have been completely fine. They would have already done it. Right. So that's the takeaway. And then he also said that like he was just calling tech companies out in general being like this about information, being biased towards different countries, like a two-way system here. And he brought up the potential necessity for legislation. So that was the takeaway for me. It's like that's where it's going on this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, and I think it's just ridiculous that these American companies are not willing to work with law enforcement to help keep these people safe, to keep our country safe. But then they just bend over backwards to work with despots in other nations. Now, just real quick, I saw a message from our friend Luke Slytalker. He said, class 1 through 99 equals a 99-page report, what the memo was all about. Release the memo. This is the Classified Intel Committee report from early on IIRC. This is what we want to declassified methods in Red Pill.
Well, I've heard that theory, but once again, we aren't 100% sure, Luke, on that.
Yeah.
So we don't want to just tell everybody that's it.
Sure.
It could be, that's plausible, but you also they have classifications of things 1 through 99 when it comes to levels of clearances and stuff.
Yes.
For certain information to go out. And I've even heard speculated to have Q clearance, you would have to be able to see 1 through 99. But once again, it's all speculation. I don't have the sauce in front of me on that. But to me, I just think it's the overall classified stuff that can't be discussed because our favorite Anon can't talk about certain things if they're not open source.
Right, exactly. All right, Chris Huggins says, have you seen the recent DJT ad digging at Biden? Loads of little hints in there. Troll in chief, God bless. I saw coverage on it, but I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet. I know that it makes some very direct associations between Biden and China. Yeah, so definitely something I'm going to have to watch. The Mikado 16, did you like your chocolate cake, M3?
Absolutely.
Katie Jones, changed my header so you don't have to worry about pronouncing my name wrong. LOL, huge fangirl here in Oregon. Love my guys, Red Pill and Methods. You two are the best. Thank you, Katie. Glad you're here. Marine Serving Jesus, third week started on the 17th. 7-4 ends week 9, not the 10th. I don't know. I don't know if it's true, but I guess we can probably say that July 4th is in that third week either way. Todd Evans, wasn't Hillary interviewed by FBI July 4th weekend a couple of years ago? I believe that is correct, Methods. A Red Pill Report, what's up, buddy, from Twitter, wanted to say keep fighting the good fight. Thank you, and the same to you. Amanda says, can you please remind me of your VPN code? Love y'all. If you go to virtualshield.com/redpill78, the deal will automatically be on the webpage when you get there. So virtualshield.com/redpill78. Yeah, always, if you go back to the video where the commercial was, then it'll be right there in the pinned comment and the description of the video. So I gotta say, I'm super happy that our favorite Anon did post just as we were going live, because this is something that a lot of people have been, kind of upset about, hearing Bill Barr say this. Now, I want to just draw attention once again that he was not there to answer questions about this particular issue. He was not prepared. The investigation itself is not over. And I want to say, I think it was unusual for Bill Barr to even comment on it, given the nature of the investigation that's taking place. Now, he said specifically, actually, you want me to just play this clip? Why don't we just play the clip? AG Barr being asked as to whether or not President Obama and Vice President Biden, not Obama, it says Vice President Obama, are going to be prosecuted. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
I have a general idea of how Mr. Durham's investigation is going. And as I have indicated, some aspects of the matter are being examined as potential crimes. But we have to bear in mind what the Supreme Court recently reminded us of in the Bridgegate case. As the court said there's a difference between an abuse of power and a federal crime. Not every abuse of power, no matter how outrageous, is necessarily a federal crime. Now, as to President Obama and Vice President Biden, whatever their level of involvement, based on the information I have today, I don't expect Mr. Durham's work will lead to a criminal investigation of either man. Our concern over potential criminality is focused on others.
All right, so the big takeaway right there was that he said, based on the information we have today. I can't imagine that Bill Barr has received full briefing on everything that Durham has done, every single piece of evidence. He's running the entire Justice Department, and that's why he delegates these kind of things to U.S. attorneys. But again, it's the information provided today. He said that they are looking at people below Biden and below Obama to go after them for crimes, okay? At that time, my thought methods is that those people will be charged and they're going to be questioned. They're going to be brought in and they're going to give a full accounting of everything that happened. That means that right now, I'm not willing to say that all is lost. What do you think about it?
Right. I mean, I dropped my head as soon as I heard Barr talk about it and say that, not because I was disappointed or whatever. I knew what it meant of how some people were going to take it. Because at the end of the day, I get it. A lot of people have had their emotions tied into this because it's taken so long. And so anybody out there that's frustrated or worried, I hear you. I try my best not to make my decisions or opinions based off of emotion. I try to do it based on what I see. So as far as what I'm about to explain, this is just how I see things, how I see it's playing out. I went back and found a tweet of mine from April 22nd, and I'll drop it here in the chat so you guys have it, because I think it really pertains to what we're talking about here. Basically, Barr was asked a month ago about his feelings about indictments and stuff leading up to the election. Would it seem political? Is it legal? Does he think it's morally right? And in that quote, he says specifically, you don't go after candidates. You don't indict candidates or perhaps someone that's officially close to a candidate that is essentially the same within a certain number of days before an election. All right. So at that time, and we've kind of known this for a while, the main candidate and pretty much the only one even then is Biden. And so if we want to talk about somebody that's essentially the same or close to, would be Obama. Mm-hmm. So this would turn the situation. So let's just say that he even just said it could turn into a criminal investigation into Obama and Biden. How does that play out during this election year? We know the media is going to lie. We know the Democrats are going to grandstand on any lie that gets put out there. It would turn Obama into a martyr because it looks like he's attacking, Obama already. We already know Trump's already doing that.
Right.
So, and also, just like how I'm so glad that our favorite Anon pointed to it and all that was the as of today. Well, then let's take it back to the class 1 through 99 thing. Mm-hmm. If we want to work under the guise that it was classified information and it can't be discussed publicly, remember back then a year ago when Trump officially approved declassification for any documents that Barr needs and requests, right? Mm-hmm. He has full reign. Well, he has to request things pertaining to the information needed in the investigation. Now, we know based off of what Barr has said, Durham's probe right now is looking into other people. We're talking about the FBI, the people involved in the spying, all that stuff, as far as that level doing that work. So you've got that going on. Now, back to the classification thing. Who was the DNI during a lot of this mess ever since the declassification was allowed by Trump?
Coates, yeah.
Dan Coates. Do you think that they would even bother asking him for that information during that time?
No.
And we also have a lot of stuff that's going on, other things that, you lift up a rock and see certain information, it leads to other things and leads to other things. So their focus right now is on those people. So that as of today comment and all that is because it's focused on those things. And I also had other people point out that you have other special prosecutors that have been hired. What has Hubert really been doing behind the scenes? Mm-hmm. What's Jensen really getting into? So you have a lot of different things. So you can kind of use those words. And then we talk a lot about how certain things have to be said a certain way publicly.
Optics.
Yeah, optics. So once again, I'm not making excuses for Barr. I'm not making excuses for Ray or anything. But how I see things based on the table is that the focus of this Durham investigation has to do with the people involved around then. And then you set the stage with people being indicted with actual evidence, solid proof, and then, okay, boom, that happened under Obama's watch. Now think about all the other investigations happening around the world with Obama, or at least under his administration. You've got the Ukraine stuff going on with Hunter, and now we know that investigation is going on. That's directly related to Biden.
Right.
That ties in. That's another layer that could be laid at Obama's feet and say, what did you know? When did you know it? How were you involved? Another one would be the Fast and Furious thing coming up with Mexico requesting the information on that. We would obviously want to work with them on that stuff. That falls on Holder, who was the AG under Obama, once again, at his feet. And another one that I want to point out real quick is what has our favorite Anon brought up a bunch. Was the whole Iran nuclear deal, the pallets of cash. Why would that be brought up a bunch if there wasn't going to be a path leading towards that being exposed once again? And then the last one would obviously be Benghazi. And if Queen goes before King, you need that at the feet too.
Well, and that's the whole point in my eyes. I mean, you don't just rush in and take out the king. You've got to take out the pawns, the knights, the bishops, everybody leading up to the king. And once all these people do end up getting charged with a variety of crimes, they're all going to be singing, basically, and telling their stories, why they did it. And obviously, it's going to be coming as a directive, and there's going to be a lot of people who are bringing the entire game right back up to Barack Obama. So he's going to be the biggest and the heaviest piece to go down last in all of this. Now, for him, I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't happen until after the election in November, because just, in that clip that you played, that you posted from Barr, then, all those bets are off. We're no longer at or before an election. So there's no need to worry about the niceties of that stuff. And we know that this is going to eventually get to them. And as our favorite Anon said in the post, I have today. FISA is only the start, okay? This is going to be a cascade effect of dominoes going from here to there, and I don't think that we're going to get some of the things that people are hoping for until after the election is over.
Right, and to another point, I see some people in the chat saying, and I'd forgotten about it, there's also the whole aspect of military tribunal stuff, and I'm not personally, I don't know enough about what would fall under that, guys, and how that would not have anything to do with the investigations itself, because wouldn't that information make it over to tribunal stuff? But I will say that's another aspect to the situation, because we're talking about a lot of crimes against humanity, funds of taxpayer people being used, of funding wars. We're talking about a lot of corruption here. And how do you do that? You do it a piece at a time. You tie a bow on it. You prove it in court. You have actual crimes proven and then charged. You have the pain happen. And then that right there can be a part of the evidence towards the next goal. And that's how you systematically do that. Just like how our favorite Anon said, you have to show them. Obama, which we all would love to see, taken care of in whatever aspect necessary, he is still considered by the left the savior. Every
for a second,
is an orange man bad stuff. Wish miss Obama. That's the recent history that they have to look at. That was before Trump. So you have to make the case to the public past just, oh, by the way, he was involved in the spying stuff. He was kept in the loop on it. He might have been pulling strings here or there. But whether, like how Red Pill said, if people sing to kind of save themselves from, worse punishments or stuff or not, you have the cases set when people are getting indicted and all that stuff.
Yep.
So we want everybody, I know we have shows like Comfy Sunday, and we always talk about being positive and helping everybody out through everything. There's also, I don't know where the cutoff is for people, because we're still learning as we go, Red Pill.
Sure.
Where's the cutoff to where, like, we have to let people be in their emotions if they feel that way and get upset? I immediately want to help them. I want to explain. That's what we're doing now, to help them see it how we see it without making excuses for stuff. It's just how we see it. But then again, people are going to get upset. It's your emotions. Do what you do. I hate it for you, because living in that, I despise living it throughout my emotions. I like to use the Occam's razor,
Absolutely.
step back. So we're there for you guys to a degree, but the emotions are your responsibility as well. And if you need to step back, take a break, get away from things, go hit a punching bag, yell in the woods, whatever you got to do, that's fine. We support you getting through how you feel about it. But today, the only disappointing thing that I felt the most was, as soon as Barr worded it that way, I was like, oh man, this movement's going to have people in it that are going to not be happy. So it is what it is. But we just want the best for everybody. But at the end of the day, we're all individuals and for the most part, adults.
Yeah, basically, don't lose your cool, guys, because this is a very dangerous and a very complicated game. If they don't do it just right, then we're not going to get the results that we want. And unfortunately, in order to do it just right, it is going to take time. There's going to be a necessary period where we have to work our way up through the ranks of these people. And then Barry is going to be last among them. Let me just do a couple of...
real quick, just before you go to that, Jojo K brought up the point about, is an AG Barr under investigation, or they're trying to call him up to have hearings, or they're trying to bring him into things.
Yeah.
We had this point too we wanted to hit about optics. I know we've used that a lot, and so that's an old word to everybody that's OG in this movement, but Barr has to, the best of their ability, Barr Durham, look separate. And why do you think Trump keeps saying, I'm trying to stay out of it? I could step in at any point. I am the head of this when it comes to, justice in this country. But I'm going to stay out of it. The whole point is this optics. So in the end game, outside of emotional reactions to this, that to me was the best choice for Barr to do today, even though I wish it just wasn't talked about at all.
Yeah. He doesn't want to tip them off. He wants to make sure that everybody feels safe and secure. We've got other things to talk about with regard to this, but just don't worry, everyone. If you're emotional about it, like Method said, divert it into something else, because the fact of the matter is it's going to take time and we have to go with it. There's nothing we can do. We can't fight against it, because if we do fight against it, if we think that we can somehow change the outcome, because, obviously we're not in the DOJ. We're not the ones who are going to be prosecuting this stuff. The only thing we can do is share our memes and share the information and be here for each other. But we don't need to lose our cool. Let's see. I need to say thank you to Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. Hey, Jude, POTUS pinned the tweet about loser Romney is savage. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll pull it up. Patriot drummer, AG Barr doesn't want to spook the flock. Optics. Yes, I believe so. Punisher, what's up, buddy? Howdy, RP and M3, much love. Essential Citizen, thank you for joining as a member. And I got your email. I just need to respond with the shirt that I want. Mark for the win says, another beautiful day in paradise. Z Woodtick Mike says, saw a point that Obama pardoned himself and Joe have to be tried in the military court. I know that's something that I've heard before as well. I had heard previously that there was pardons that went out for basically everybody in his administration, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Barb has joined as a member. Meadow Dancer, wow. Obama XO'd Operation Mockingbird back to legality. Bar CD used being against that, him and saying what he needs to put Obama. Okay, so it's optics. He's using optics. Gaffer Anon says, what's the sealed indictment count up to now? Methods, if you could check that out, man, that'd be great to get a count. How much more popcorn do you think I'll need for this movie? Hashtag Muffingate isn't trending. There is something that we need to fix, you guys. Go make sure that Muffingate is trending. Whenever you share the shows, whenever you put a tweet with our handles in it, make sure that you share Muffingate. Diane W., what do you think about Exodal Hinusa saying Dems are not officially nominating Biden to take out Donald Trump? Well, I think that was a bit of a Freudian slip. I do not think that Biden is going to be the Democratic nominee. And I think that the more that Biden is out there and the opportunities they have for sound bites, the more obvious it becomes that he will not be able to run. He has too many skeletons in his closet, too much baggage. Everybody knows that Joe Biden is probably the worst candidate that the Democrats could have put up. But there is a logic to their madness. And I do think that we're going to have somebody else up there, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was Hillary again.
That woman, I can't pronounce her name even if I tried.
Yeah.
She is, I actually look forward to seeing her on when she's on Fox News, because you already know she's just terrible at counter argument for narratives.
Yeah.
And so the fact that slipped out made complete sense, because you could see her struggling in her face and like, as long as I keep smiling and making this sound good, it'll work. And you know it's not. So it's like you just want to be like, hey, give it up, girl. Just give it up from the corner, you know? Oh, and shout out to Space Shot 76. He's out in the chat. Hey, brother.
Oh, what's up, Space Shot? Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. Flor Riccio. What's up, Flor? Good to see you. Cuomo just announced in September opening for NYC. He is destroying our state. Just like the left gets triggered with our MAGA hats, I get triggered with the useless masks. Hashtag no masks. Hashtag open up America. I completely agree. That's great news to hear that New York is opening. I sure hope that it's not too little too late. This is the perfect time for people in New York to come together, build your own economy, okay? There's got to be ways for people to connect and for, things that you can do amongst each other to continue the exchange of money to go back and forth. The Punisher says, hashtag Muffingate. Lisa Hagen says, did you talk about John Here to Help post on Judge Sullivan's son terrible crimes and him hiding them? I had actually didn't know about that. If John Here to Help had posted that on Judge Sullivan, does Judge Sullivan have a Twitter? Or did he just post it on his own timeline? I'll have to check it out. I mean, I would like to talk to John again. It's been a while. I need to say thank you to Trisha Barton as well. Got a phone call, so I don't know if you read my message on my previous PayPal, so I don't know if you noticed my email was wrong. Okay, Trisha Barton lives in Texas, and she is interested in doing a meetup of patriots in Texas. Trisha Q Patriot Texas. She's the one who was on the call-in show that one time. There was a tornado that went through her neighborhood. She said it's a little bit worse for wear, but it is still beautiful. Trisha, go ahead and put your email, just separate it in the chat. So do like the beginning and then at, and then whatever the .com is at gmail.com. And then we'll get some people together for you. Skip Walton. Thank you very much for that, Skip Walton. And then Andrew. Hey, what's up, Andrew? What's up, buddy? Nunez, house.gov/contact. What is this? This looks like a press release that you sent me a link for. Sorry, it's going to disappear as soon as I read it. And then also, Trisha, again, RP, we have a lot of Texans here. And I want to do a meetup. I live on Lake Livingston. We need a group of people who agree about things to stand together in our state. I offer my property or suggestions on where to meet. I would love to hear from my friends here. It's okay to give my email address out. It's tbarton1@gmail.com. tbarton1@gmail.com. Methods, would you mind putting that in the chat for me?
Yeah, say that one more time.
T Barton and then the number 1. So TBARTON 1 at gmail.com.
Gotcha.
And then thank you to Rita Pindus. Thank you for that. Margaret Earl says, thank you, Red Pill 78. I am so delighted I found your channel. I just figured out PayPal, so hopefully you get this. I'll be watching live today. It's great to be a part of this community. We're glad to have you here as well. And then there was somebody else who said, Judith Lees. Judith said that it was her birthday on 11/11. She called in the other day talking about the swirly with Bill Gates. Bill Gates tore down a building at Harvard, I believe, because he got swirly when he was going there as a student. Pretty funny.
All right, before we move on, we've got a little over 4,800 people here hanging out with us. I see 1.5 thousand likes. If you guys don't mind turning that blue for us, that'd be great. And also, thank you guys for hitting us up on PayPal. We really appreciate it. And also to your question about the sealed cases, we are 19 shy, Red Pill, of 170,000.
Whoa.
Right.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. And for anybody who doesn't know, Methods PayPal is in the description of the video. I know the mods, Jojo K just put it in the chat. So thank you very much for anybody who's supporting Methods as well. Let's see. Guaranteed Success says, smash that like button. Shad Moore says, Barry will run as VP to take the trending from where we go one, we go all. We must be vigilant. We must not stay silent. I don't know that Barry can run as VP. I know that this is something we've talked about before, but I've had many people contact me saying that it is not legal, because if something happened to the president while he was VP, he would have to take over, and that wouldn't be a legal action.
Right. I've had people send me sauce that he could and sauce that he couldn't, so
yeah.
I just shrug and move on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Todd Rubel says, Joe Biden is wishing everyone a happy Victoria Day in the U.S. Is he really? What is Victoria Day? Is that something in Europe? Big Mike loves Barry. 17 mentioned clawbacks in a prior post. Prior arrests, confidential informants allow due process to claw back up the food chain to bad actors at the top. Keep it up, gentlemen. You guys are killing it. I think that is perfect description of what's going to be taking place here with this stuff. All right, so moving on from the press conference, it's come out today also that John Brennan is willing to do another interview with John Durham. He says specifically he has nothing to hide. Now, here's the thing. It portrays it as if this is the first interview, but Methods, am I wrong? I mean, didn't we get a report previously that Brennan already had done an interview with Durham?
Well, how I remember the headline was Durham was looking to interview
okay.
him. Now, if it had came out since, you know how hard it's keep up with all this information, and I'm sure the chat will let us know or give us sauce if it's true. But the last thing I remember is that he was looking to interview him, and then he was also interviewing people. He was interviewing people in the, atmosphere his sphere of Brennan. So yeah, as of now, I don't think he has, but of course he's gonna be like, yeah, I got no problem. Ask me anything, and he'll just cower when Durham shows up at his door.
He's a worm. He's an absolute snake. He said, I feel very good that my tenure at Clowns in America and my time at the White House during the Barry administration, that I was not engaged in any type of wrongdoing or activities that caused me to worry about what this investigation may cover. So I welcome the opportunity to talk to the investigators. I have nothing to hide. I have not yet been interviewed by any of those individuals involved in this matter, but I'm willing to do so. Okay. So, yes, clearly him saying he hasn't been interviewed. But there's a whole slew of illegal things that he was involved with. I mean, they were spying on the Senate. I know that they spied on reporters. I know that clearly they had a part to play in this unmasking of General Flynn and the release of his name, which is in itself a 10-year felony. And then you can't forget about his former company, what was it, ATC, I can't remember the name of it.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, it might be TAC, the Analysis Corporation.
That's it.
He was the CEO of the Analysis Corporation. The Analysis Corporation was caught breaking in to the passport system here in the United States. They stole a bunch of passport databases, including Barry, including Hillary, and then I want to say there was another person, but I can't remember who it was. But I did a video about it a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to touch on it again in today's video, so we'll go deeper into that. But there's some speculation that there is some additional bad behavior on behalf of the Analysis Corporation. And our friend Ezra, what's Ezra's last name?
I always get it wrong. Watnick.
Ezra Cohen Watnick. That's what it is. But Ezra Cohen Watnick might have a part to play in unmasking what that bad behavior is. I'm going to talk about it at length later on today. It's kind of a slow news day, really, when you put it all together in 2 shows. But I think that this is. It's a necessary thing that has to happen. I mean, Brennan must be interviewed by Durham and his team. And personally, I'm glad it's taken this long, because this means that Durham and his team has gathered an incredible amount of evidence. Brennan has no idea exactly what they know. So he can go in there, and if he lies to federal authorities, I mean, that could be the very first charge amongst many.
Oh, I totally agree. And just to real quick on the Analysis Corporation, because you're going to be covering that in the video later, that the speculation on the passport stuff was, is this a bribery thing to where he could keep Obama in line? Because there's a lot of the talk that we have from our favorite Anon about Obama's ties to the clowns, his parents or alleged parent, whatever, going down that road. So was it to keep him in check, or was it wiping history type stuff?
Yeah.
So you could get a lot, you could do a lot during those things when they never let a good even operation go to waste. I mean, think about Snowden. But yeah, as far as the Brennan stuff, that he's definitely going to be questioned if he hasn't already, and we're just getting old news. And it's the entire apparatus that needs to be question, because now, like you said, having everybody testify publicly, go in front of the media, make their accusations, go on Twitter and have things with timestamps of saying things. All this stuff gets collected, and then he sits down with Durham, which there's just that one main picture of him, and it's terrifying. Having him sit down and be like, I wonder what he knows, what he doesn't know, what can I get away with? You're forcing them to either sing or perjure or whatever. And that, to me, it's the perfect way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they've been lying for so long, they can't keep all that stuff straight in their heads. I mean, like, they've had multiple stories throughout the last couple of years, and now John Durham and his team, they have absolutely every single piece of evidence, much of it which is not even accessible by the public. So what is Brennan going to do? How is he going to be able to keep this stuff straight? I don't think it's possible to do, and I think that now that we have his former underlings also being questioned about him, his motives, his movements, all of that stuff, there's going to be a lot that he could possibly say that could really trip him up. It's going to be a really, really good thing. Need to say thank you to the Ghoul Gals. My awesome mom is red-pilled in South Carolina, where we go one, we go all. We love #Muffingate. The Ghoul Gals, Mom, thanks to for this young lady for red pilling you, I'm assuming. The Punisher, RPNM3, any updates on antitrust? I haven't heard anything about it since the other day when it was initially brought up. Methods?
The antitrust stuff?
Yeah.
I think it got brought back up again, but it was more so that they're trying to follow through with it.
Okay.
But I didn't have it prepared for the show today.
Okay. Cue the music. Almost 5,000 watching. If half have Twitter, #Muffingate would be trending. That's right. If everybody here was to tweet out #Muffingate and maybe that clip from when Muffin and Chi-Chi got into a fight, then we could get it trending. Patricia64, thank you for joining as a member, a producer of the channel. Appreciate you. Alan061, iPod gave a thanks to Methods for pushing him over 100,000 subs today. Yeah, definitely. I wish we could get iPod on the show. I know he's a busy guy. He's got an interesting schedule, but I'm just going to put it out there. The invitation's always open, buddy.
Well, and we get a lot of requests for certain people in this movement to come on the show and talk. We do reach out to a lot of them. Some of them who you've never heard before talk aren't exactly wanting to, or they plan on doing it later. When people say, why don't you have James Woods on? We would love to have James Woods on. We reach out to a lot of people, but when it comes to certain things, we can't just get everybody.
Right.
But we do have some very exciting guests coming up for Comfy Sunday over the next several weeks that we're really excited about.
Yeah, Lisa asks, isn't Durham's team over 240 employees? Yeah, 240 lawyers and people working at the Justice Department. I mean, that's all that we know of. I mean, there could be additional people, too. And then, again, put together those additional teams. Huber had, like over 400 or something like that? And then we've got the other individual U.S. attorneys. We have no idea how large those each individual teams are, and they're all going to be working on a different facet of the crime. Now, Jackie Bain says treason is not investigated by the DOJ. Ezra Cohen-Watnick just got to the Pentagon. Military tribunals for 44. Yes, that's an excellent point. That is exactly where it's going to be. If they can get the evidence together to prove treason and sedition, it would end up being in a military tribunal, I believe. MC-17 called cops on me at Target today for no mask, for real. Funny how these huge pack stores can be open, but no mom and pop shop with no crowds. Though I met a 70-year-old follower of our favorite Anon who stepped in. Where we go one, we go all. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Well, getting back to all of these crimes that took place. You guys remember last week we covered the people who were doing the unmasking. I guess I did it more in my video, but there were several people from the Treasury Department that were in there. I thought that was kind of strange. Well, a whistleblower from the Department of Treasury has come forward to say that the Treasury was spying on Flynn, Manafort, and the entire Trump family. It is pretty big news, actually.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm dropping that Ohio Star link in the chat. I first saw it from the Sharp Edge on Twitter. Great Twitter account. So just shout out to her real quick.
Yeah. So apparently they were looking at financial records beginning in December 2015 and well into 2017, before, during, and after he served at the White House with President Trump. And this is, the whistleblower is a Treasury Department official and also a veteran of the intelligence community. So they saw what was going on and they were like, hey, this is not a good thing. So back in, I guess it was back in 2016 that they came forward, perhaps. 2016 is when they first started noticing it. And then they saw all of the other people on President Trump's team. So, I mean, talk about the full weight and power of the United States government. It wasn't just the DOJ. It wasn't just the FBI. If we've got Treasury looking at these guys for ways to clip them up, I mean, how many other different offices within the United States government could have potentially been looking for ways to entrap and frame these people? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if additional areas in the government were to come forward and say, hey, guess what? We were also looking at General Flynn and the Trump family.
Right, and I'm not going to hold my breath on the Democrats defending this whistleblower's rights and everything.
No.
Definitely not. But, I mean, this just shows even more so the apparatus of what they were doing to spy. Because you would have to look at, like financial records and stuff like that when you're spying on somebody to see what moves they're making, to try to find something to catch them up on or to know where things are going for them to counteract, because they've taken apart everything Trump's done during this election the best they could. So it's just another piece to this scandal that's bigger than Watergate.
I mean, what's really shocking about it is the initial complaint was filed in March 2017 with the OIG, the Inspector General. That would have been Richard K. Delmar. And then there was an additional report and a complaint that was filed with none other than the Office of the Special Counsel back in May of 2017. So this entire time, while the Dems are crying and screaming about whistleblowers and the protection of whistleblowers, we have somebody who's coming forward with credible evidence, somebody who knows what they're talking about. And it's absolutely just ignored by not only the IG, but also by Robert Mueller and his team. I wonder if this information right here is also stuff that's going to come up here in the coming weeks. This is a pretty big deal.
Well, you had Nunes said that they were definitely making criminal referrals into Mueller's team. So all this stuff, I mean, you have to dismantle, like we were talking about earlier, you had to paint this entire picture for the public, make sure it doesn't happen again, bring certain people accountable. You have to then dismantle what Mueller was doing and expose the fact that they were playing damage control, keeping the Russia collusion narrative going on, and looking for things to go after Trump to make the case for impeachment, all that, and also to gather all the information that would be used and put it under the special counsel's, privilege. So the whole it's out of my purview stuff from Mueller is just nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. John Howe says, according to POTUS, we caught them all. Also, our favorite Anon said, we have it all, so I think treason is a done deal. Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about it, guys. I'm fairly confident that this is happening. It's just a matter of getting there. We just have to keep everybody calm and cool until we can. Bree Ives says, I do apologize if someone has asked this in the past, but I'm just wondering if you guys have dug into Joseph Gregory Hallett. I'm not sure, just putting the info out there. Where we go one, we go all. I don't know anything about Joseph Gregory Hallett. Methods, do you know who that is?
No, I do not.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and copy that and see if I can't do a little bit of digging. Kathy,
and there's also, we have brilliant people in the chat. If anybody's looking for something to dig on, report back to us. Let us know what you find.
Yeah, I'm going to paste it into there. Joseph Gregory Hallett. Dig away, autists. Kathy Alterman says, we may never get it all. Trump doesn't want to irreversibly tear this nation apart. That's definitely something that people need to be waiting for. I don't think that we're ever going to understand fully everything that's happened here. And as we've been told before, if all of it came out, 99% of the people would be in the hospital. Obviously, we don't want that. We don't want to destroy the country. We want people to, to basically own up to their crimes. We want justice to be served. But there's only so much that's ever going to reach the public square.
I mean, you've got to. I mean, you have you obviously, with everything that you see the Dems doing, other countries doing, the media, they have no problem ripping this country apart if it means it protects themselves and can further their agenda down the road. I mean, think about how this Kung Flu stuff happening and how the connections in between the impeachment stuff going into the Senate and then, the CCP covering up everything about the Kung Flu, timing all this stuff. You have no problem doing all these things. We're dealing with pure evil. If you want to understand evil in the world, you're dealing with it now. So as far as what things come out and when they need to come out, and if they need to come out at all, that's, I guess, falls under the category of trust the plan. There's certain things that don't need to be exposed, especially at certain times, because it can cause, world destruction ultimately. And it's not just about America. It's about other countries too, and them being stable and not falling apart.
Right. You guys, this tweet from President Trump about Mitt Romney, does it have a song in it that's going to get us copy struck? If people can just let us know in the chat, because it's only 39 seconds long. I'd love to play it as long as we're not going to get copywritten. Also, fans of Jimmy Century, thank you very much for that. Fans of Jimmy Century, appreciate that. And then Deborah Brassel, thank you for joining on Patreon as well. Appreciate you. So
and real quick, I 2.2 thousand likes, guys. If you guys don't mind clicking the like button, that would be great.
All right. Now, also, I did want to bring this up since we're on the in the third boom week, essentially. We did have this past week a tweet from Chuck Grassley related to corn again. Last week was spike stage of corn emergence. # corn watch. This week, 2-leaf stage, and you can row the corn. I have no idea what that means because I don't know anything about corn or farming. But kind of interesting that we have the revelation of the names at the same time that we have Chuck Grassley talking about corn again.
I agree. I don't want to give out a wrong kind of decode or hunch type stuff, but what we do know is that Grassley is going to take the helm back from do nothing Lindsey Graham. So there's something he's talking. It's not just about corn. It's obviously not about farming. There's more to it, especially with the James Corney stuff going on. And when I mean do nothing Graham, I do hold back the idea or hold on to the idea that he was told to be like this, to be that guy in the corner doing nothing. And hopefully he does do the hearings starting next month, because then we'll have something fun to cover. But Grassley is somebody that's definitely going to be, the patriot that we're going to be needing during all this time.
Yeah. I saw somebody asking us to have a particular person on. Just keep in mind, guys, that there are people who might not want to come on the show, and that has nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. But if we do reach out to people to try to get them on the show, I guarantee you that we will tell you about it. But just remember, we can't have everybody on, and there's a lot of things taking place behind the scenes that might be the reason for that. Valerie Shaw says, you guys are awesome, and all the guys associated with you. So glad God led me to the 17 movement. God wins in the end. Absolutely. Okay, so no song in President Trump's tweet about Romney. So let's go ahead and take a look at it, because Mitt Romney is a loser.
I just can't believe you're going to lose. Yeah.
Barack Obama will be re-elected president of the United States.
Plan B, Plan C, Plan D are now gone. And so you start looking at the Romney math and you're saying, well then, what's Plan E?
With tears and a gloomy atmosphere as supporters left the convention center in Boston following Romney's concession speech.
That was a race, I have to say, folks, that should have been won.
I wouldn't call anything encouraging for Hillary Clinton at the moment, to be honest with you, my friend.
Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump to concede the race.
President of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
I just can't believe
All
you're
right.
going to lose.
Hopefully that we're safe, because that was a rather short clip, so 39 seconds. But yeah, I mean, I there's nothing more you can say. President Trump is a winner. All these people trying to take him out are losers, and it's not going to work. Now, the next thing we wanted to talk about is, this is in relation to the situation with General Flynn. If you remember, there was multiple names on there, I said, from various aspects of the government. One of the people that unmasked General Flynn's name was the Italian ambassador. That was him on that list. And I thought that was pretty interesting, because we have the connection to Italy yet again. That was one of the places that Barr and Durham went to go specifically interview people. So, and actually Giulio Occhianero was commenting about it on Twitter. And he's been talking about the connection with Italy for quite a long time. It played a very, very large role in this. Obviously, Mifsud's been hanging out there. We had multiple people in the Trump campaign going to Italy. We now have people in the last government who were very, very close to Barack. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes out of this. There is apparently another confidential human source in Italy that we haven't heard about. But the U.S. ambassador, that was John R. Phillips. There was also Deputy Chief of Mission Kelly Deignan. She was stationed at the U.S. Embassy in Rome. So both of those people with the State Department. And what do we know about the State Department? Well, that is the diplomatic wing of the clowns in America.
Oh, I agree. And I do believe in this. If we're going to have this 10 weeks of stuff coming out, just rapid fire, the foreign collusion aspect and all this is definitely going to be involved in that. It's going to come out anyways, but I'm looking forward to that conversation, because then we're going to be doing the ripping apart. Well, you said that Trump was colluding with Russia, another country, and then also colluding with Ukraine. Well, then here's all the actual evidence of Democrats and other people working with foreign countries to do these things, actual collusion. So I'm excited about that, and I'm dropping the link to that article that you're covering now. All right, and then also the Punisher said Severanon just released a new album. Please check it out. We definitely will. And Dodo13500, OMG, have you guys read the tweet thread by Bush 320? I have not read the tweet thread from Bush 320. I don't know if I follow Bush 320 on Twitter. I'll have to check it out. Let me go see. I do see an interesting point out here in the chat from someone named Mopar Madness, if I'm saying that right. Bringing up Romney and all that stuff with that clip, is this hinting at a possible, Hillary Romney ticket when it comes to things? Now that would be an interesting. I'm not at all saying that that's true, but to even have Romney, a Republican, switch last minute and then run as VP or something in this case would be a move that I would see the Democrats at least considering.
I mean, I can see them keeping Mitt Romney as a Republican in name only and doing that split ticket, because the idea of doing that is to, like, bring the country together, you know? I mean, it's not about political party. We just need to band together to destroy Donald Trump. So, you know, we've got Mitt Romney, who's a fake Republican. He's a rhino. And then we've got Hillary Clinton, obviously, who is most certainly a Democrat. Now, we're almost out of time, guys. Just want to say that I did pull up the Bush 320, and he was following me, so I followed him. I'll have to check it out and see what it was exactly that you guys are pointing to. If somebody can send me maybe a link to the exact tweet thread that you're referring to, I would definitely appreciate it. Just want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with us today. Don't forget, we've got Red Pill News today at 6 p.m. We're going to be going through several other stories that we didn't get a chance to talk about here today. Thank you to everybody who sent out the super chats, hit up Methods and I and our PayPals. Thank you to everybody who liked and shared the broadcast. We're at 2.5 thousand likes, 5,074 people watching right now. It's not too late to throw a like on this show.
Right, and once again, we thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's really, really cool. Start of a week.
Yeah.
We have, you know, obviously the discussion that we need to have about, you know, when we're going to tie a bow on this show known as Quarantime. You know, we're still working out the details, guys, but we're definitely keeping all of y'all in mind in this. We enjoy doing this stuff, so we'll be breaking out some information here in the near future about that. But like we said, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you to everybody that hung out with us last night, talking to Victoria Gates. That was a great conversation.
Yeah, check that out if you haven't yet.
Yeah, it was a great conversation on Comfy Sunday last night. And once again, we'll be doing this all week. And then who do you have on this weekend? Do you have it in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me,
Okay.
but I'm actually, I'm still working it out exactly who, but I've got a couple of people in mind, and I'm working on the next couple of weeks right now.
All right, well, it's early on in the week. We'll be announcing it sometime during this week who we're going to have on Comfy Sunday and who he's going to have on his weekend shows. But yeah, make sure that you guys catch the video that Red Pill has put together for tonight.
Yeah.
And yeah, just another one in the books. Love you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you once again to everybody for hanging out with us. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter as well, at RedPill78 and at M2Madness. And we will see you guys again tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Quarantine. And I'll be back tonight at 6 p.m. for Red Pill News. Thanks, everyone. Good luck and God bless.